Hello and welcome to Last Week Tonight. Tonight, we have a critical and eye-opening story that demands our attention. Tonight, we're diving into a deeply concerning situation unfolding in Manipur, India. This region, known for its rich cultural heritage and diverse communities, is now at the center of a political storm. It involves the Meitei state government, accusations of militant infiltration, and a whole lot of what we in the business like to call utter bollocks. The narrative being spun here is not just misleading, but potentially dangerous. The Meitei government, led by Chief Minister Singh, has been pushing a narrative that paints the Kuki people, an indigenous tribal community in the region, as a dangerous threat. This narrative is not only unfounded, but also serves to deepen existing divisions, their supposed evidence. A claim that 900 Kuki militants have crossed the border from Myanmar to stir up trouble. This claim, however, lacks substantial proof and seems more like a convenient scapegoat than a verified fact. Now, I'm no Sherlock Holmes, but this smells fishier than a penguin's underpants. The numbers don't add up, and the logic behind these accusations is flimsy at best. This isn't just about a few exaggerated numbers, it's about a systematic attempt to demonize an entire community. The Kuki people have been living in this region for generations, contributing to its cultural mosaic. The Meitei government has been using these claims to justify the deployment of central forces in Kuki areas. This heavy-handed approach has led to increased tensions and fear among the local population. And we all know what happens when you give a government with a history of oppression a bigger stick. The potential for abuse of power and further marginalization of the Kuki community is alarmingly high. We're going to unpack this mess, expose the truth behind these claims, and shed light on the real agenda at play here. It's crucial to understand the broader implications of these actions and the impact on the region's stability. Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get real. We're not just scratching the surface, we're diving deep into the heart of this issue to bring you the facts and uncover the truth. Let's talk about this alleged influx of 900 Kuki militants, shall we? First of all, where's the proof? The Meitei government has been awfully quiet on the specifics, offering vague statements and blurry photos that wouldn't convince a toddler that their goldfish was actually abducted by aliens. The number itself is suspiciously round, almost like it was plucked out of thin air. It's the kind of claim that makes you go, oh, really? Did they all just happen to RSVP to the same Facebook event for militant mayhem in Manipur? Independent observers and human rights groups have found zero evidence to support this claim. It's like saying 900 clowns just rode into town on unicycles. Entertaining, perhaps, but utterly lacking in credibility. This isn't just incompetence, it's a calculated tactic. By inflating the threat posed by the Kukis, the Meitei government is trying to create a climate of fear and justify their increasingly aggressive actions. While the Meitei government is busy fabricating stories about phantom militants, the Kuki people are facing a very real threat, and it's not coming from across the border. For years, the Kukis have been subjected to violence, discrimination, and displacement at the hands of the Meitei-dominated state. To protect themselves and their villages, the Kukis have organized volunteer groups. These are not militants, they're farmers, teachers, shopkeepers, ordinary people forced to take up arms to defend their homes and families. Imagine having to arm yourself with a garden hoe just to feel safe going to the market. That's the reality for many Kukis in Manipur. These volunteers receive basic training in self-defense and village protection. They are not trained for offensive operations, nor do they have the firepower to launch any kind of large-scale attack. The Meitei government's attempts to paint these volunteers as dangerous militants are as absurd as they are dangerous. It's like calling the Neighborhood Watch a paramilitary organization because they have reflective vests and a walkie-talkie. Section 4. A pretext for occupation central forces and the land grab. Now, let's talk about why the Meitei government is so keen on painting the Kukis as a threat to national security. This narrative isn't just a recent development, it's been brewing for years, carefully crafted to serve a larger agenda. The answer, my friends, lies in the land. The fertile and resource-rich lands that the Kuki people have inhabited for generations are now seen as prime real estate by the Meitei government. The Kuki people occupy a large swathe of land in Manipur, land that is not only agriculturally valuable but also strategically important. This land has been the subject of numerous disputes and conflicts over the years, with the Meitei government making several attempts to claim it. These attempts have often been met with resistance from the Kuki community, who have a deep-rooted connection to their ancestral lands. And what better way to justify seizing that land than by declaring it a hotbed of militancy? By labeling the Kuki areas as dangerous and unstable, the government can rationalize its aggressive actions. By claiming that Kuki areas are teeming with insurgents, the government creates a convenient excuse for military intervention. The Meitei government has created a pretext for deploying large numbers of central security forces to the region. These forces are not just there to maintain peace, they are there to assert control. These forces, often acting on biased information and fueled by anti-Kuki sentiment, have been accused of human rights abuses, arbitrary detentions, and extrajudicial killings. The presence of these forces has only escalated tensions, making life increasingly difficult for the Kuki people. The accusations of human rights abuses are not isolated incidents. They are part of a broader pattern of intimidation and violence. Reports of arbitrary detentions and extrajudicial killings have become alarmingly common. This isn't about security, it's about control. The Meitei government is using the guise of counterinsurgency to further its own interests. The Meitei government is using the military as a tool to intimidate the Kuki people, displace them from their land, and consolidate its own power. This strategy has led to widespread displacement and suffering among the Kuki community. Displaced from their homes, many Kuki families are forced to live in temporary shelters, their lives uprooted and their futures uncertain. The government's actions are not just about land, they are about power and control. By displacing the Kuki people, the Meitei government aims to weaken their resistance and strengthen its own position. It's a classic case of land grabbing disguised as counterinsurgency. The Meitei government's actions are a stark reminder of how power can be abused under the pretext of security and stability. Section 5. Demonization tactics, painting a target on the Kuki people. The accusations of militancy are just one part of a larger strategy to demonize and dehumanize the Kuki people. These accusations are not isolated incidents, but part of a well-orchestrated campaign to paint the Kukis in a negative light. The Meitei government and its supporters have been busy spreading all sorts of nasty rumors and stereotypes about the Kukis. These rumors are often amplified through social media, creating a toxic environment where misinformation spreads like wildfire. They've accused them of being involved in the drug trade, calling them narco-terrorists. This label not only criminalizes the entire community, but also justifies harsh and often violent actions against them. They've claimed that the Kukis are not real Indians, but illegal immigrants from Myanmar. This narrative serves to delegitimize their presence and rights in India, making it easier to marginalize and oppress them. They've even gone so far as to compare them to vermin that need to be eradicated. Such dehumanizing language is a classic tactic used to incite hatred and violence against a targeted group. This kind of rhetoric is dangerous and irresponsible. It creates an atmosphere of fear and hostility, making it difficult for the Kukis to live their lives in peace. It's the kind of language that incites hatred and violence. When people are constantly bombarded with negative stereotypes and inflammatory rhetoric, it becomes easier for them to justify acts of violence against the targeted group. And it's all too familiar to anyone who's been paying attention to the rise of fascism and ethnic cleansing around the world. History has shown us time and again that such tactics can lead to devastating consequences. The Meitei government is playing a dangerous game, one that could have devastating consequences for the Kuki people. By using inflammatory language and spreading false narratives, they are putting the Kukis at great risk. By painting a target on their backs, they're making it open season on the Kukis, putting them at risk of further violence and persecution. The international community must take notice and act to prevent further atrocities. For more in-depth coverage and updates, make sure to subscribe to Zalingam Media. Your support helps us bring you the truth.